Hello dear students. So we'll be discussing with the characteristic features of phylums. So already we have discussed with the phylum Porifera, Coelenterata, Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, Aschelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda and Mollusca. So we have left out with the last two phylums in invertebrates. They are Echinodermata and Hemichordata. Okay, so that we discuss today's video. So this echinodermata, which includes all the spiny bodied animals, okay, so you can remember about starfish. So starfish is an typical example for phylum echinodermata. So where they found? So these animals which come under phylum echinodermata, they are exclusively marine, means they only found in marine, and also they are bottom dwellers, means ಅದೆಲ್ಲ animals ಸಮುದ್ರದ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಕಾಣಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. Then level of organization, here it is not mentioned but you should write in the examination. Level of organization, they exhibit organ system level of organization. Body symmetry is important. So in molluscum there was bilateral symmetry, right? Till previous phylum it was almost bilateral symmetrical animals, but here in their life cycle they exhibit both radial symmetry and also bilateral symmetry, means during a larval stage they exhibit bilateral symmetry, and when it grows into an adult it exhibit radial symmetry. So this is very important. Let's discuss with the special features now. So here digestive system is simple and it is complete. In here for respiratory system they have tube feet. So tube feet act as a respiratory system. What is tube feet? I'll explain later. Then circulatory system, it is reduced and it is somewhat open type of circulatory system they have. And about excretory system, so here there is no such excretory organs for excretion like what we have kidneys in our body, but here excretion simply happens because of the diffusion through gills, and they are ammonotelic animals, means they release their nitrogenous waste products in the form of ammonia. So hence they are called as ammonotelic animals. Okay, then what about nervous system? So here nervous system is somewhat circumoral nerve ring and some radiating nerves, you can see here. So in each nerve, each arm there will be radiating nerve and there is no brain. So about reproductive system, here sexes are separate and fertilization is always external. Okay, if the animal survives in the water habitat, so almost they exhibit external fertilization, and development is here indirect development. So now we'll discuss with the special features what echinodermata animals only have. So special feature is here, if you take a dorsal surface they look different from the ventral surface. Okay, so here dorsal and ventral surface is different. In the dorsal surface they have anus, and in the ventral surface they have mouth, hence the digestion is complete or incomplete. So digestive system is complete type because they have two openings on the dorsal side and ventral side. So dorsal side they have anus, hence they are called as aboral surface. Oral means mouth. If any word comes after a, means it is absent, so mouth is absent in dorsal side, so such surface is called as aboral surface. And ventral surface, since there is a presence of mouth, this surface is called as oral surface. Clear? So here food enters into the mouth and here digestion takes place, and after digestion undigested food will be excreted through anus. So this feature is only found in echinodermata animals. Clear? So next important feature is, of course, body is covered with the spines for protection. This is the characteristic feature of echinodermata. and head is usually here it is absent. Clear? Then important feature is about tube feet. So presence of tube feet is very important in echinodermata. So these tube feet are present on the ventral side. You are familiar with dorsal and ventral side, right? So this tube feet L present ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, they will be present on the ventral side, which helps in locomotion and also which helps in feeding and also for respiration. So functions of tube feet is locomotion, feeding and respiration. So in porifera we have studied water canal system, right? But here it is, they have special feature called as water vascular system. So in porifera, what happened there, from ostia water enters into the body and through spongocell water released out through osculum, right? So here in water vascular system, same thing happens like porifera, but here water enters through, there is a special structure which is called as metroporite. So metroporite will be present somewhat here in the center, okay, and it reaches into the tube feet. So water enters from metroporite and it reaches to the tube feet, and later it helps to locomotion. So this type of circulation of water is called as water vascular system. Clear? And next is about endoskeleton. So here endoskeleton as calcareous plates, okay, and exoskeleton has hard structure, as I mentioned, it has covered with the spines. So last one is about examples. So examples are starfish, as I mentioned, is very typical example. It look like a star, okay, so that is why it is called as starfish. Why it is fish? Because they survive in the water. Next example, echinus. Echinus commonly called as sea urchin, okay. Then antodon was commonly called as sea lily, and last example is cucumeria. Cucumeria is commonly called as sea cucumber, and also there is an example called as brittle star, okay. You can go through NCERT textbook. So here this is a starfish, this is also a starfish. Can you see this? This is brittle star, which looks like a starfish, but arms are not that broader here. So this is a brittle star. In down to that, this is what we call it as a sea cucumber, okay. So this is all about phylum Echinodermata. Next is phylum Hemichordata. So this is very small phylum because nearly few hundred species have been discovered so far, and this is the last phylum of invertebrates. So they are found in marine region, okay, and also they are burrowing animals. About basis of classification, they are organ system level of organization, body symmetry, they exhibit bilateral symmetrical animals, and triploblastic and coelomates. Clear? So this is about basis of classification. Coming to the special features, we'll discuss special features first. So your body is cylindrical shape. If you see the structure of Balanoglossus, this is one of the example for Hemichordata. So Balanoglossus is commonly called as tongue worm. So you might have heard about flat worms, round worms, right? So this is called as tongue worm. Since they look like a worm, the name is given as tongue worm. And your body is divided into three regions, that is proboscis, collar and long trunk. Okay, so this is a proboscis, from here to here proboscis. So this is collar, and this much portion is called as trunk. Okay. Next is about appendages. So here there is no appendages for the animals which come under phylum Hemichordata. Why? Because locomotion is not required since they are burrowing animals, right? So in Annelida, phylum Annelida, they had parapodia for locomotion. In Arthropoda, they had jointed appendages. And in Mollusca, they had foot, you remember? And previous phylum, in Echinodermata, there we have studied about 2 feet, which helps in locomotion, right? So here there is no such organ for locomotion. And next important feature is about notochord. Here notochord is absent. This is very important. Why? Because earlier this phylum was considered as one of the subphylum of phylum Chordata. Okay, this was considered as phylum, Chordata subphylum. Why? Because there is a structure like notochord. So if notochord is present, then it is considered as phylum Chordata, right? But later scientists they researched on it and they concluded that the notochord present in Hemichordata is not true notochord, hence it is now considered as non-chordate. Okay, so that is why it is important. That structure similar to notochord, which is called as stomochord. So stomochord, stomo means mouth, so which is present just about to the mouth. So in Hemichordata, here the mouth is present. Okay, mouth is present in between proboscis and cola. Somewhat here you can see the mouth. And this stomochord, which is present on the roof of the buccal cavity. So somewhat here on the roof of the buccal cavity, there you can see a long structure which is called as stomochord. Next, coming to digestive system. So they exhibit complete digestive system because food passes from mouth and excretes through anus. Next, about respiratory system. So respiration happens through gills. About circulatory system, it is open type. And excretory system, so here excretion takes place through proboscis gland. So we have kidney, right, as a excretory organ. In the kidney there is a special part which is called as glomerulus. So glomerulus like a structure which is present in the proboscis gland, which helps in removing unwanted things from the body. Clear? Next is about nervous system. In invertebrates, there was a double ventral nerve cord. You remember? But in vertebrate, nerve cord is present on the dorsal side. So why it is called as hemichordata? Hemi means half, right? Half chordata is. So the animals show few of the characters of chordata and few of the characters of non-chordata. Clear? So here nervous system is which is present on both dorsal and ventral side. If it is invertebrate term, okay, it was present on the ventral side. If it was vertebrata, it is present on the dorsal side. But in hemichordata, nerve cord is present on both the side. Next is about reproduction or reproductive system. Here sexes are separate. Fertilization is external since they are marine animals. Development is indirect. Okay. So this is all about the characteristic feature of phylum Hemichordata. So last what you need to write about examples. So here 2 examples they have given in NCERT, that is Balanoglossus and Saccoglossus. Repeat with me. Examples for Hemichordata are Balanoglossus and Saccoglossus. So here we have completed all invertebrates. Next we will discuss with the phylum Chordata, its characteristic features and the classes, subphylums of phylum Chordata. Let's start with the phylum Chordata. So phylum Chordata, in Kannada we call it as Kashirukaharu. Okay. So usually chordates are nothing but here vertebral column is present, right? So we know about the fishes, amphibians, reptiles, scales and mammals, right? But after invertebrates, suddenly fishes are not evolved. Okay. So there was intermediate animals between two. So let's discuss with the general characters of phylum Chordata. They found in all possible habitats. Okay, they are seen everywhere. Next, about level of organization, since they are complex animals, here level of organization is organ system level of organization. About body symmetry, they exhibit bilateral symmetrical animals and they are triploblastic and coelomage. So this is about basis of classification. So coming to the fundamental characters. Fundamental means why we refer as fundamental, because they are somewhat a special feature which is only found in chordata. Okay. So first one is about notochord. So these are animals with the notochord, as we know, and notochord is nothing but it is rod-like structure present on the dorsal surface of the animals. This is important. Okay, so dorsal means this side. Okay, so you can see this notochord. So this notochord is present on the dorsal surface, and next is about nerve cord. So nerve cord which is present above to the notochord, so if this is notochord, just above to this, okay, there is presence of nerve cord, and the anterior region of a nerve cord, as it grows, it forms the brain. And next important is they are present on the dorsal side of the body. Okay, so these two are very important. First one is about notochord. So notochord is present on the dorsal surface, and nerve cord which is present above to the notochord, and it is also present on the dorsal surface. So other important characters also present in chordate, that is they have pharyngeal gill slits. Okay, what do you mean by pharyngeal gill slits? So pharynx, we know that it is a part of alimentary canal, right? So food will be passes from the mouth and it passes to the pharynx, then stomach, then intestine, and finally released out through anus. And in the pharynx, here they are attached, gills are attached to the pharynx, hence they are called as pharyngeal gill slits. So which usually, of course, we know that they helps in respiration. Now you may think that humans also come under this phylum, and why don't we have gill slits? Right? Why? Because in aquatic animals, gills are required for gaseous exchange. Okay, but humans are not aquatic animals, right? They are terrestrial animals. Because of evolution, these gills has been disappeared in humans. But in internal ear, if you take the internal, okay, so inside the ear it is actually connected to the pharynx. This will discuss in the coming videos. Okay, next important character is heart is present on the ventral side. This is very important. In most of the non-chordates, heart will be absent, but if it is present, it is present on the dorsal side in non-chordates, but in chordates it is present on the ventral side here. So we have done with the four fundamental feature. First is about notochord, second one is about nerve cord, next is about pharyngeal gill slits, and then we discuss with the ventral heart. Next feature is about post-anal tail. So in chordates, post-anal tail is present. What do you mean by post? Postponed. Postponed means, post means after. Post-anal, anal means anal part. So after anal part there is presence of tail in chordates, but in non-chordates, so post-anal tail everything is absent. You might have seen the structure of arthropod like cockroach, earthworm, needles. So their tail is absent, right? And next important feature is about endoskeleton and exoskeleton. So in chordata both endo and exoskeleton is present, but there in invertebrates only exoskeleton is present. Okay, so this is about the important features of phylum chordata. Now let's discuss with the difference between chordates and non-chordates. So first one, of course, notochord is found in the embryonic stage, but notochord is absent in non-chordates. In chordates, there is central nerve system which is present on dorsal, that is hollow and single, whereas in non-chordates, nerve cord is present on the ventral side and it is solid and it is double. So double ventral nerve cord is present on non-chordates. Next, third difference is, so pharyngeal gill slits are present in chordates but it is absent in non-chordates. Heart is on ventral side in chordates and heart is usually absent in non-chord, but if it is present on dorsal side. Post-anal tail is present in chordates and it is absent in non-chordates. And the next one is endo and exoskeleton is present in chordates and only exoskeleton is present in non-chordates. Last one is hepatic portal system is present. It is related to liver because hepatic cells are present in the liver. So some kind of system that I will explain now in the coming videos. Hepatic portal system, it is present in chordate and it is absent in non-chordates. Okay. This is about difference between chordates and non-chordates. So next let's discuss with the classification of phylum chordata. So phylum chordata, it is divided into three subphylums. First one is subphylum Urochordata, subphylum Cephalochordata, and third one is subphylum Vertebrata. We human beings, we come under third subphylum, that is subphylum Vertebrata. Okay, so we'll discuss one by one. Subphylum Urochordata and Cephalochordata are also referred as Protochordata. Okay, so they together call it as Protochordata. The characteristic features of subphylum Urochordata is as follows. First character is, here notochord is present only in the larval tail. So you cannot see the notochord in the adult one, but it is only present in the tail region of the larva. For example, if this is a larva, this is the larval tail portion. So in the tail only this notochord is present. Next feature is, body is covered by or body is made up of tunicin or body is made up of tunica. That is why this Urochordata also referred as tunicata, and they are exclusively marine. Clear? So these 3 points are clear. Notochord is present only in the larval tail, body is covered by tunicin, they are marine, and next character is, here you can see regressive metamorphosis. Okay, or you can also refer as retrogressive metamorphosis, means first will be larva and it will metamorph into adult one, and they are hermaphrodites. Examples are Acidia, Salpa and Doliolum. So these are about Urochordata. Next is with the Cephalochordata. So here notochord is extends from head to tail region and it persistent throughout the life. In the first subphylum, what it was only present at the tail portion, but here it is extend from the head to tail portion like this. Okay, and it persists throughout the life, okay, till it dies. And here also they are exclusively marine animals. Okay, and body of animals come under Cephalochordata are somewhat fish like. and there is no defined coelom. They are acoelomate animals and sexes are separate. Okay, so the examples are Amphioxus and lancelet, or it is generally called as Branchiostoma. I repeat, here notochord, they extend from head region to the tail and they persistent throughout the life. They are exclusively marine, body is fish-like, acoelomates, here sexes are separate, and the example is Branchiostoma. So next, third one is about subphylum Vertebrata. So the characteristic features of subphylum Vertebrata is, here it possesses notochord during embryonic period. In the first one, it was present during larval stage. In the second subphylum, it was persistent throughout the life. But in the third Vertebrata subphylum, here notochord is present during embryonic stage, and later when animals grows, this notochord, it is replaced by cartilaginous or bony vertebral column, which is seen in adult one. Clear? Second feature is, here you can see ventral heart. So kidneys are present for excretion and osmoregulation. And the last one is paired appendages, which may be fins or limbs. For locomotion, they will be having either fins. Fins means it will be present in fishes and all, mostly in aquatic animals. Limbs are those which also helps for locomotion, and it is present in terrestrial animals. Clear? So here is the picture of Amphioxus. This is one of the example for Cephalochordata, and here in Urochordata, here is a picture of Ascidia. Okay. So for you in first PU, you need to study in detail about subphylum Vertebrata. That is the third one. Okay, third subphylum. So this subphylum Vertebrata, you all know that it includes fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, mammals, right? But other than this, there is a class which is called as Cyclostomata. Okay, that we'll discuss first. Now let's discuss with the classification of subphylum Vertebrata. Okay, so this subphylum Vertebrata, it is divided into two, that is Agnatha and Gnathostomata. How to pronounce? Agnatha and Gnathostomata. So this Agnatha, which includes jawless animal. Okay, this Agnatha, which includes jawless animal, it has got only one class, that is class Cyclostomata. Clear? I repeat, Vertebrata has two divisions, Agnatha and Gnathostomata. Agnatha has one class, that is called as Cyclostomata. And what about Gnathostomata? So Gnathostomata includes those animals which has jaws. So this Gnathostomata has two superclass, one is Pisces and Tetrapoda. So Pisces includes all the fishes, whereas tetrapods includes the animals having limbs. Clear? The superclass Pisces, they will have fins for locomotion. Tetrapod animals, they will have limbs for locomotion. Clear? So this superclass Pisces further divided into two classes. One is chondric thighs and ostick thighs. How to pronounce? Chondric thighs and ostick thighs. Whereas the superclass Tetrapoda, it is divided into four classes. They are class Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves and Mammalia. Clear? So this is about overall classification of Vertebrata. Now at last, we need to discuss with the characteristic features of all these classes. Okay, so let's start with the first class, that is Cyclostomata. So Cyclostomata, they are ectoparasites on fishes, means they will be attached to the outer surface of the host. Such animals are called as ecto means outside, parasites means which depend on other animal, ectoparasites. So cyclostomata animals, they will have elongated body is somewhat elongated, and they will be having 6 to 15 gills, or it is called as gill slits. Why? Because it will be present as a layer. So gill slits are helps for respiration. Okay, and here mouth will be sucking and circular type. Jaws are absent. Next, scales are absent, and paired fins will be absent. Cartilaginous cranium in the sense brain, so brain will be cartilaginous in nature, and vertebral column is also cartilaginous. Circulation is closed type. They are marine, but for spawning means for egg laying, they will migrate to fresh water. After spawning, they die actually. Okay, their larva after metamorphosis means there will be changes in the body of the larva and it will become adult. That process is called as metamorphosis. Later they will return to the ocean. Okay, so examples for cyclostomata are petromyzon and myxin. So petromyzon is also called as lamprey, and myxin is also called as hagfish. So this is all about cyclostomata. Clear? So first one is a picture of petromyzon, you can see here, and this is a picture of myxin, second one. Next superclass is pisces. So pisces are those animals which has fins for their locomotion. So superclass pisces, which is divided into two classes, one is class chondrichthyes and class osteichthyes. Let's discuss with the class chondrichthyes. So first remember the example for chondrichthyes and osteichthyes, then it will be easier for you to understand the difference between these two. So example for chondrichthyes are boneless fishes like shark and all. Okay, you might have heard about scoliodon or stingray, right? Or electric ray, right? Ray fishes and all, they are actually without bones. Such animals are kept under chondrichthyes. So the characteristic features are as follows. They are marine animals. Okay, and here you can see in these fishes caudal fin. Caudal fin means the fins present in the tail portion. So caudal fin is heterocercal, means they are unequal in size. One will be longer, one will be shorter. So such fins are called as heterocercal fins. Then what do you mean by homocercal fins? Homocercal fins means the upper fin and lower fin will be similar, or they are identical. Okay, next they are of course cartilaginous fishes. Fourth point is here gill slits are without operculum. Gill slits, of course, they helps in respiration, right? It is not covered by a structure which is called as operculum. In bony fishes and all, you might have seen, there is a covering for gills. Such a structure is absent in chondrichthyes. So skins are covered with the scales. In shark, usually when you see the fish, you find that there is no scales, but internal to the skin there will be having minute scales, and here placoid type of scales are usually present in chondrichthyes. Okay, and next is teeth are modified into placoid scales which are backwardly directed, means the scales present on the skin, they are backwardly directed, not forwardly directed. Clear? So there is no air bladder. Air bladder is a characteristic features of bony fishes, means osteichthyes. Osteichthyes includes all the bony fishes. Okay, so since there is no air bladder, so they have to swim constantly to avoid sinking. If air bladder is present, then it has capacity to stand or in some places, okay, but here there is no that option. If they stand, they will actually sink. Here sexes are separate. In males, pelvic fins bear claspers. So this is how we can distinguish male and female fishes. There will be having internal fertilization. Even though they are marine, here internal fertilization takes place, and most of them are viviparous, means they give birth actually, they don't lay eggs. Clear? So example for chondrichthyes are Scoliodon, the common name is dogfish, then Pristis means sawfish, okay, and there are other examples too, you can write any example. Next is Trigon is the scientific name of stingray, okay. So next is torpedo, it is the scientific name of electric ray, it has got electric organ. Clear? So next let's discuss with the osteichthyes. So osteichthyes, they are found in both marine and fresh water, and this osteichthyes includes all the bony fishes. They will have bony endoskeleton, okay. And here caudal fin means, as I mentioned, this fin, it is homocercal, means both upper and lower fins are equal in size, okay. Then this mouth will be terminal in position. Clearly you can see here mouth is terminal in position, right? But in most of the cartilaginous fishes, mouth will be ventral side, okay. They will present somewhere here. So next about scales. Here some animals will be having cycloid type, some will be having ctenoid type of scale, some will be having ganoid type of scale, but all the animals which come under chondrichthyes, they will be having placoid type of scales. Here air bladder is present, which helps in buoyancy. Buoyancy means, of course, as I mentioned, it is a function of air bladder. If air bladder is present, the fishes avoid the problem of sinking. Here also sexes are separate. Here fertilization is external, usually it takes place in water, and they are mostly oviparous. Oviparous means egg laying animals, and development as direct. There will be not having larval stage. So example for osteichthyes is as follows. Some are marine animals, as I mentioned, some are freshwater, and some are ornamental fishes. Ornamental fishes are those fishes which is used in aquarium and all, okay. So few of the fishes for marine animals are as follows. Hippocampus means seahorse. Sardine is the name for butai fish, okay. Mackerel is the name for, it is locally called it as bangude fish, okay. Then pomfret, it is also one of the marine fish. For freshwater osteichthyes, Labioroheta or rohu fish, katla fish, okay, tilapia fish, etc. Next aquarium fishes are as follows. Angel fish. Angel fish will be very beautiful. It has got a long caudal fin, okay. Then betta fish is called as fighting fish, means in aquarium and all, you should keep only one fish in one aquarium, or they will fight with other species of fishes, okay. So this is all about chondrichthyes and osteichthyes.